All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Me here, talking about real music in real time for real people just like you and just like me. This might be a question for patrons who are over on Patreon. You can sign up for $1 a month if you want to start a thread or chime in on the conversation. Um, my question is this, and I think I did another video on this. But I'm really wondering what the big deal is when it comes to Paul Stanley performing soul music in the year 2021. I get it that he's a fan. Most rock and rollers are fans because really the basis for rock and roll is great R&B, soul, and blues music. All right, that's the basis. A lot of rock stars wish they could write songs like they did back in the 60s and 70s because the songwriting is just way above their pay grade. And if they can come up with something even close, they're thinking they had one of the best days of their lives, right? You got these great producers, arrangers, writers. You had a whole system, especially if you look at Motown and then Stax and some of the other independent labels that sprung up around those record labels, really all trying to imitate each other and trying to sort of up the game and do the best they can. But you needed soulful singers, Paul. You needed, look, imagine if Rob Halford from Judas Priest said, "Hey, I'm thinking about doing a Motown record." I think that might raise a few eyebrows. Now, in the case of Rob Halford, he's so different and so unique that there may be a bit of curiosity. It's like that huge juxtaposition. Metallica decides they're going to do an ABBA song and people want to know about it. They're interested because it's bizarre. Doesn't mean it's going to be good. It just means it's going to be bizarre. And sometimes bizarre does attract attention. And there have been a few cases over the years where, say, this band that's out there called Disturbed, they did The Sounds of Silence by Simon and Garfunkel, and it was okay. I mean, I didn't hate it, which is pretty cool these days if I don't dislike something that a band like Disturbed is doing. They've done a couple of tunes that I can tolerate. And they didn't destroy a song that I used to love and respect. They really changed it up big time. In the case of Paul Stanley, though, doing soul music, the best word I can use is pedestrian. I've used it a couple of times thinking I have this large vocabulary, and I really don't. But, you think of run-of-the-mill, kind of ordinary, really not adding anything. It's not like, if Paul Rodgers does a soul record, I'm going to probably check it out because it's Paul Rodgers. Paul Stanley these days, the speculation is, and again, it's speculation, can't be proven. It's been talked about by people like Eddie Trunk. And I know Eddie Trunk has kind of this Kiss vendetta thing. And I kind of do too, to some extent. I didn't. And Paul is more guilty than Gene, because Gene will be truthful. Gene will come out and say things like rock is dead and give a really good hypothesis. And then Paul last year became a medical expert, which kind of drove me crazy day after day. And I did cover it here on this channel. It gets a little tedious. He's basically telling his fan base, no, don't ever come to my concerts, or I'll let you know when you can go out and so forth. And that's going to hurt his whole Soul Station thing if it does hit the road. It's being reported that the End of the Road tour might be postponed for a while so Paul can get out there with his Soul Station project. Now, again, I have difficulty when someone comes along and says, hey, I love soul music, so I'm going to do a soul record. Now, again, if you're Paul Rodgers, if you're Michael McDonald, if you're somebody that possesses a little bit of soul, okay, and you can hear it, when someone has soul, and when someone is just trying to get through it, just trying to make it sound so it doesn't embarrass the original song, which shouldn't be your goal. Your goal should be either stand the thing on its head, like my Metallica analogy, okay, Metallica, Rob Halford analogy, or you're so good of a singer that you want to put your stamp on that particular music and kind of make it your own, expose some younger folks to the wonders of this music, which quite honestly, you know, if you're covering the Temptations, you better be damn good. You know what I mean? If you're trying to do anything that the Four Tops did, or the Supremes, or pick a group, you know, Phil Collins got away with it in the 1980s to some degree. And his voice wasn't better. It's just that his arrangements were pretty catchy and pretty listenable. But there are a few examples where I go, oh yeah, this is way better than the Four Tops. Boy, am I glad this guy came along and redid, you know, Ooh Child. No, some things, please don't tell me you're going to do the Spinners. Please don't do it. But yet, that's on the agenda. That is sacred ground for me. I'm a huge Spinners fan. And I've had a few patrons say, Dave, have you heard this? Why is he doing this? And I go, he loves soul music. And I get that. There are a ton of rock stars who are closet fans of soul music because of the level of production, songwriting. The songwriting alone, I mean, if you could write one or two of those songs in your lifetime, you're a genius. But these people had a slew of them. They had greatest hits, volumes 1 and 2. I mean, this stuff is like the Mozart and Beethoven of the rock era. And any of those groups who aren't in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, by the way, the Spinners are not in the Hall of Fame, which, again, I think they were nominated once. And I'm not sure what the holdup is, but they need to be in. As pretty much anyone else who was in that era, you know, you had basically the Motown wrecking crew out there churning out just great music, song after song. And I have spoken about it here. Maybe I haven't covered it enough, but when someone comes along and says, hey, I can do this, why would you want to go listen to that? And again, somebody who might be using vocal tracks performing live music today with his original band, which is more about the show right now than the substance of the music. Because if you're really not that concerned about things like vocal tracks or, you know, piped in guitar parts or whatever, keyboard parts, I mean, this has been going on, I tell you, from reaching out or people reaching back to me who are in the industry, this has been going on for 2 or 3 decades now, at least 2 decades, maybe 25 years or so, where, hey, we need a little help on stage, and good thing I can just press this button and get a keyboard sound that will repeat and go along with the music, or a whole pre-recorded thing which the band just kind of plays along to. I mean, that's, to me, that just takes the whole sport out of it. That's like fishing with sonar, you know? Hey, we know where the fish are, right here, stop the boat here. Now, I know that's helpful and certainly takes a little bit of the work out of it when it comes to fishing, but when it comes to music, just get up there and play the songs. This is what people used to do in the old days. They used to get up there and just play the songs, and a whole generation of people now don't even understand what that is, especially considering what we've been through over the past year, where, hey, let's have a virtual concert. Hey, let's not. You know what I mean? Let's not have a virtual concert. Let's have a real concert. You know, you could stand really far apart. I don't know, but at least have a real concert. There's got to be a way to do it. And that's another weird thing. I mean, you're going to postpone the end of the road so you can go out with the Soul Station. To me, I don't know. This has kind of rubbed me the wrong way since I heard about it. I don't know why I'm picking on Paul Stanley so much. Well, actually, I do know why. And it has to do with some other stuff that went on last year But I would say, you know what, Paul? Get through the end of the road tour, do what you got to do, and call it a career. Turn the band Kiss, I'm talking about, turn Kiss over to some new folks who can actually get up there, wear the makeup. I'm sure you can audition 1,000 guys, and I bet you like 400 of them will sound like or can pull your vocal off. It's not really that hard. I mean, you got to have a certain sound, but it's not like, Paul Stanley is Pavarotti. It's just weird that there's so much hoopla about Soul Station. I don't remember this much hoopla when Michael McDonald released Motown Volume 1 or Volume 2, and here's a guy who can actually sing that kind of music and be respectable doing it. That's my point. So in any event, I don't know what you think, but you can follow me over on Patreon. Just hit the logo. It's $1 a month. It helps keep the channel on the air. I appreciate the support, especially over the last month or so, since things have gotten a little interesting. But again, thanks, and we'll definitely see you soon.